Who's that handsome devil right there? It's me! Spoiler alert! My name's Chris, hi there, nice to meet you. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about theater kids. Now don't click out of the video just yet, hear me out for a second, okay? I'm going to throw a little statistics at you. In the 1999-2000 school year, 20% of public high schools offered specific theater instruction. Now that number has dropped to a staggering 3% in the 2009-2010 school year. Apparently, many schools don't think it's very important to have a theater program, or perhaps it's too much of a financial burden. But what about those special kinds of kids? What about those theater kids you see singing down the department halls of the arts wing? I sat down with a few of them and asked them the hard-hitting questions. Like, why do they do theater?
I never really had a reason to stop.
Fell in love with the whole singing, dancing, choreography, scene work, just the whole thing. I just really enjoyed it.
Because I love it. It's a simple answer.
Now clearly these kids are just as invested in their work than any football player or student president, yet their programs are the first to fall under the axe of budget cuts. Fortunately for a little town named Harrison, located right about here, students are lucky enough to partake in a theater program which is fully equipped with 2 professional performance spaces, an auditorium, and a black box theater, and classes specifically focused on theater training, which include...
They do go over general theories and general techniques.
Thank you, Jerome. General theories and general techniques. Most students would have to apply to a performing arts college before they even set foot in a theater class. Fortunately for students like Jerome here, they're given the opportunity to hone their talent.
To help improve your acting, objective, tactics, those kinds of things. If I have to act in the role of someone who is social, then I guess I can apply what I learn about that role to my life to improve myself in social situations.
Jerome hits on an interesting point. Theater's effect on the social aspect of high school. And he wasn't the only student to bring that up either. Christian, another student at Harrison High School, also had something to say about his social development through theater.
Met a lot of people through theater, and even through any sort of performing, whether it's music or it's acting, you meet a lot of great people, a lot of talented people, and you get to sort of play off of them, and it helps you to become better, which is really cool.
I also spoke with my own brother. You can tell because you can see the shadow of my camera right there. Timmy is very involved with high school theater. He enjoys
the whole singing, dancing, choreography, scene work. If I can go out on stage and perform in front of a bunch of people, I can go up to the lunch table and talk to someone I barely know.
For some students, theater becomes an undying passion through which they forge lasting friendships with like-minded people. But without the chance to work through the theatrical process, many students aren't given the chance to experience the theater family.
I know, it's cliche, it's like a theater kind of family that you have, but it's, it's really true, because it's something that you feel like you're part of this great thing.
Where high school drama departments fall short, there are always people in the community willing to pick up the slack. Dan Ferranti is the artistic director at a community theater called the Westchester Sandbox Theater.
The idea of having a place for kids to go where they were like-minded kids and you could do something artistic. And I guess the reason I started the theater was there was also the idea of doing it right as a business, doing it right as a community. So I wanted to strike out on my own and build it with my own 2 hands. Most of our business comes from word of mouth now. We haven't advertised in 2 years and we've grown exponentially.
The Sandbox has expanded from 1 performance space and has added a rehearsal studio and reception area. Clearly, there's a growing interest in theater among high school students. But even in a flourishing drama program, students find themselves hemmed in by censorship, an issue that the Sandbox Theater doesn't have to concern themselves with as they enter into rehearsals for cabaret.
In cabaret, oh cabaret, to cabaret.
I like that we've had an opportunity to do a lot of sort of edgier stuff than you can do in high schools usually, and do it to fulfillment. I have to say, and this is the honest truth, we've done some stuff that has certainly pushed the limits and certainly wouldn't be permitted in a high school setting. And I've never felt like they couldn't handle it I never felt like they were just screwing around on stage, that, you know, they were snickering every time you said something. If you treat them like adults, they respond like adults. Teenagers are capable of a great deal if you communicate with them.
And communicate with them I did, and I may have learned more than I set out to. If you allow me to take my reporter jacket off for a second, we'll get into some real talk. You see, when I started this project, I really only had my own experiences to go off of. And in talking to these kids, I realized that a lot of what they were saying was hitting me where I live, you know? Just right here. I mean, I made all my friends through theater. I spent all my life in the arts wing of high school, and I can honestly say I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for doing theater. Now, that may be in a dingy room with this window over here, but still, I feel like I've grown as a person. My confidence has been amped up 10 times. And now look at the same things happening in high school right now. You know? And it's just kind of sad that many students aren't even given the chance to try it. I mean, I'm not saying that every student will go out and do theater, because that's not going to happen. Even in many community theaters, the goal isn't to make them good actors at all.
But it's preparing them with skills that are important just in general, that do cross over. I think that's the value of it, is that most of the things you learn here do cross-pollinate into other things in life.
There's more to theater than just memorizing lines and standing on stage. There's something really special in meeting a bunch of new friends, working hard for weeks on end to put on a great show. And that sense of accomplishment when you take your final bow, there's nothing like it in the world.